So we literally have school boards that are completely out of control. We have principals that are completely out of control, that are monitoring parents' social media and calling their jobs to try to get them fired. So a logical choice to this, a compromise. Now you guys know I'm in favor of complete defunding of the public schools. I want them completely defunded and gone. But a nice compromise would be school choice. School choice is literally in the Republican Party platform. So, do you think that a Republican politician who's elected by Republican voters should support school choice? Well, apparently not in Georgia. Apparently, feelings got in the way of actually supporting a bill that could give parents more options to not send their children to school at places where the principal is going to call their employer if the principal doesn't like their posts on Twitter. This is real. This is real. This is in the Washington Examiner. Georgia Republicans had their feelings hurt by a mail flyer campaign. Georgia children will now pay the price. Georgia Republicans withdrew a bill that would have established a $6,000 per student voucher program, expanding school choice in the state. Why? Because they disapproved of a flyer campaign by the American Federation for Children, an organization that supports school choice. According to the Georgia House Speaker David Ralston, the flyer campaign attacked Republicans very vigorously. The flyers called on some Republicans not to give into the radical left and advised people to contact the office of these lawmakers. Why this is so offensive is not entirely clear, because it was not clear whether the bill would pass. Ralston himself says it was going to face a competitive vote, meaning the group was trying to tip the scale and wasn't just pestering Republicans for no reason. But, why do I have a big ad on my screen? Jesus. But Republicans apparently decided that the act was so offensive that it would simply tank the bill. I'm going to tell you guys this. The same thing happened in New Hampshire. You guys know how I'm constantly complaining about how Chris Sununu fucked up the anti-CRT bill in New Hampshire last year. He likes to take all the credit for it. It's like, we don't allow critical race theory to be taught in schools. Well, we actually do, because Chris Sununu himself screwed up the bill. And he screwed it up by having his Republican cronies take out key components of the bill. Now, they took those components out in the Senate. And what was going to happen in New Hampshire was the sponsor of the bill was going to try to fix it during a reconciliation process. He had offered an amendment to the bill that would have fixed the loophole. They're now having to fix it in the legislative process because the Republicans were so pissed at the bill's sponsor for a statement he made about taking away the governor's emergency powers that they refused to even consider the amendment. The Republicans in New Hampshire very literally screwed the anti-CRT bill in New Hampshire, and now in this legislative session, they're having to go back to try to fix the thing that they should have damn well fixed the last time because they were miffed that someone didn't want the governor to have unlimited emergency powers. This is literally how this works. This is how this works. Juliet says, what I'm tired of is voting in good people that just bow down to the scum in office. Well, I'm going to be honest, Juliet. I have ragged on multiple candidates. Well, they were candidates saying Republicans shouldn't vote for these people. They're bad candidates. Republicans shouldn't vote for these people. Republicans shouldn't vote for these people. It is crystal clear if you look at the candidates. And every single time I have been correct when I've said that. And every single time what I'm told is, Carlin, you're just a leftist that's trying to trick us. So no, I don't believe the Republicans are by and large voting for good candidates. There are select good candidates out there. And I'm going to say Marjorie Taylor Greene cozying up to Nick Fuentes doesn't actually get my support on that one, because she's trying to cozy up to the most extreme among the right. But there are warning signs over and over and over again, and Republicans like to ignore them. Or when people point them out, they say, "You're just a leftist that are trying to trick us. Stop telling us to not vote for people. You just want us to lose because you are a leftist." They make up every excuse in the book. And then stuff like this happens. And everyone wonders why. I was screaming about Chris Sununu and how much of a rhino he was for months and months and months and months and months. And this was all happening while the establishment was trying to prop Chris Sununu up as possibly the greatest governor in the history of governors. That was what was going on in the Republican establishment. It is what it is, man. Until you guys stop voting for horrible candidates and you start allowing bad candidates to lose, you're going to have more stuff like this. The Georgia Republicans apparently decided the act was so offensive that they would simply take the bill. The voucher legislation would not move at all in the Georgia House of Representatives this year, period. Georgia Republicans voted against school choice bills in the past, but this excuse is extraordinarily weak and suggests hidden motives because some politicians had their feelings hurt. Children and parents will once again be put last. Maybe the campaign was stupid, pointless, and counterproductive, but in what way does hurting the pride of a few politicians justify depriving parents of options when it comes to their kids' education? This is far worse than Utah GOP Governor Spencer Cox using school choice as a political tool for teachers' salary negotiations. Georgia Republicans, who have repeatedly failed to pass similar versions of the current bill, are offended that a group is pushing them to finally pass one. They are so offended that they are simply taking their ball and going home. The bill isn't being dropped because of the negotiations or logistical concerns or other priorities. It is being dropped out of spite. And I'm going to tell you what, I had exactly the same experience working with some, not all. There are good people in the New Hampshire GOP. There are. They usually tend to be more of the Liberty Republicans, but there are absolutely good people in the New Hampshire GOP. But I had exactly the same experience. You know, people might rag on me for, like, I became a Republican for about 15 minutes. One of the reasons I became a Republican for about 15 minutes was my experience trying to navigate the system when I was trying to work on the anti-CRT bill in New Hampshire. And it was fucking impossible. It was impossible. It became so clear to me so quickly that these people had no interest in winning at all and that it was not a changeable system. And that's when I went, okay, I'm not wasting my time here. Sorry, I'm not killing myself for this. If I'm going to lose anyway, I'm going to go hang with the libertarians who I have much more in common with anyway. Because it's just impossible to fix. It's impossible. Until Republicans start getting out of their own way, I just don't even know what to tell you. The GOP is part of the problem. Ensuring parents have multiple options and opportunities for their children's education should be a top Republican priority moving forward. It is both good policy and good politics because it weakens a major Democratic interest group, teachers' unions, and helps increase Republicans' support among non-white voters. Instead, Georgia Republicans think their own pride should come first and that children should come last. It is a remarkable failure of governance. Even if the hurt feelings explanation is more than just a cover story, it should be completely unacceptable for GOP voters.